Hello friends, so this is Volkswagen T-Roc, my Volkswagen T-Roc. It's been 2 years I'm having this car, and I posted a community post yesterday that we have discussed that there are few videos that can be put. So first video is we'll discuss 5 points that I like about this car and 5 points that I don't like about this car. I'm not complaining, but it's just like a few things that are bothering me in last 2 years. And I have to say that this car is something like IPL's Ishan Kishan. It costs bomb. Everybody will ask you that why the heck you have spent 22 lakhs for this car. You could have bought a Harrier, you could have bought some other big car, but this car is like IPL's David Warner. It's fast, it's ferocious, it's aggressive, performance is very consistent, performance is better than the competition. So without wasting any time, let's get started, guys. So friends, I'll talk about the positives first. First thing I like about this car is the design. Even after 2 years, I believe it looks very fresh. It looks very young as compared to Harrier XUV 700. This car still stands out, and it's precisely because it looks very youthful with the creases. If you see this wheel arch, and then you have this crease, right? And if you see this one coming from the headlight, it goes all the way till the last. Then you have this tail lamp, and then again it's somehow embellished with this wheel arch, right? See this one, and then in the middle itself we have this crease. So it's kind of attention to detail in the design, and it shows. This car was launched in 2017, I believe, but it still looks very nice. Even if Volkswagen will launch it as a CKD right now within something around 19 to 23 lakhs, it will still sell like hotcakes. It will still sell around 1000 units, which will be good for such an expensive car. Other than that, if you see these chrome strips on the both sides, they look really nice and they gel up nicely with the design. Then again we have this brushed chrome roof rails, and overall from the side view also, car looks very proportionate. You see it from any angle, see it from the rear, you see it from the front. The car looks really nice. So this is the best thing about this car, the design, because you do need to look your car every day, right? So this matters a lot, at least for me. And now coming to the second point. Second point is the build. Since it's a CBU, completely built unit, being imported from Europe, I believe Portugal, and the build speaks for itself. You won't find such built cars in 22 lakhs on road price anymore. Just see this. See the width of the door and see the thud. In person, I have to say it feels very heavy. I reviewed 520D few days back, and this car is at par with 520D, at least in the exterior build. I understand those cars are marvelously engineered, but as a layman I can say that this car feels no lesser than that. Boot feels really heavy. It's super heavy. And then if I'll show you the bonnet also, and bonnet also feels very heavy despite having this latest pedestrian rules in which you need to have these bonnets little softer to avoid any head injury. And friends, third good point is insulation you get in the car. Insulation helps you in the silent cabin, like if you're driving fast, you're driving on the bad roads. Silent cabin somehow gives you a rich feel, gives you a luxurious feel. So this car scores perfect in that. I'll show you how. So you get a very nicely insulated bonnet, and see the firewall insulation right there. If you see the layout also, it looks really nice. This is to catch rats. And see this also, this. So in BMW that day we saw that it was insulated from all 4 sides, but here we have this and this along with this hood insulation. And on the doors you get this very thick rubber beading going all the way till the left on both sides obviously, and you get this rubber beading here, and here you get 2-layered insulation. And even on the rear, yes, it's quite thick also, feels really nice, no scuff plates. So even on the rear you get this double layered rubber beading, and you get this on the borders also, starting from here, and it goes all the way till the last. So no complaints here whatsoever. Thanks Volkswagen on this. Coming to the fourth point, which again is a smart touch and it's very helpful also. So you have this cup holder, right, and you can adjust it as per your bottle size, but it's not the one I'm talking about. The thing is this: you can access boot stuff by just pulling it like this. So you need to pull this, then pull this, and you can access your boot. So if you're traveling, you can keep some stuff handy over there, some milk bottles or some drinks, whatever you feel like. Really smart from Volkswagen. And the fifth point, which I like the most about this car, is performance. You load it with 5 persons, fully loaded with the luggage, or if you're driving alone, the dynamics, the braking, the handling, everything, it feels so perfect. I have to say that if you drive any other car in this segment, you'll easily get to know the difference. I have driven Compass, I have driven Harrier. Those cars cannot match the dynamics of T-Roc. And I'm sure once this car will be launched as CKD, you do need to drive it to understand the difference. 1.5 TSI DSG gearbox, braking is very good, I have to say. On high speeds I feel very confident, while overtaking I feel very confident. Even with the fully laden, you won't feel any lack of power, and full marks to Volkswagen. And it goes from 0 to 100 in 8.4 seconds as per Volkswagen. So friends, just like any other car, this car also has some glaring flaws. My car is a little dirty, so I'm sorry for that. It's rainy season out there and I'm not able to squeeze out time to wash my cars obviously. So we'll discuss 5 points which I don't like about this car, or I have complaints about this car. So first thing first, I didn't like this particular suspension. If I can show you, see, this has torsion beam with coil springs. In this budget, 22 lakhs, I believe Elantra, Octavia, they had multi-link suspension, but this one, T-Roc, despite having a very balanced suspension, a very comfortable suspension, but it has a budget grade torsion beam suspension, single rod going all the way with coil springs. So it's a kind of negative, I believe. Second negative point which is worth mentioning is the space at the rear and overall feel. It feels little congested, it doesn't feel roomy. And if you see these windows, my mother and mother-in-law has complained that when they sit, it feels very uppish. I mean, it is something on your like eye level if your height is not tall. So if I'll sit like this, see, it is almost above than my shoulder, which doesn't give me a very roomy kind of feel, though it has this panoramic sunroof, but still. So if ladies have complained about it, I do respect this fact that overall glass area at the rear, it's not something you feel roomy about. It's little bit suffocating as per the ladies. I honestly feel it's not that bad, but they say that Slavia and even Polo is much better in the room area, and maybe it's little dark, so maybe it's little giving claustrophobic feel. And my personal complaint is when I drive this car, if you see the C pillar, it's very thick, and even B pillar is like that. So when you drive this car, if you see the rear window, it's not very big either, so you have some blind spots while driving. So you do need to trust your skills and have to take chance. So this is the second point that I believe is worth mentioning. So it's not like a huge complaint, but the glass area at the rear, it has lesser space because if you see from the outside, it's tilted, it's inclined so much from the rear that eventually from the front angle the height becomes very less. But it's okay if it adds, if this area as a metal area adds to the rear passenger safety, I'm okay with it. But it is something that bothers me. And friends, other point, the third point, which is I believe a huge negative, and it's very ridiculous one, and it's worth mentioning, is see the exhausts. These are fake exhausts. I mean, they obviously look so fake. Volkswagen hasn't even tried to make it look original. क्या करेंगे भाई इसका? So it looks very fake, I believe. You do have twin exhaust, right? If I can show you. So you do have twin exhaust. It's a turbo engine. You could have just spent some more money and divided it in the way that they become original, but they obviously look very fake, which somehow takes away the grace. Because if they would have been original, even if they were round, they still would have looked very nice and added to the charm in the car, gave it a real sporty feel. But now it looks fake, and fake doesn't look good. Sorry Volkswagen, and shame on you. Fourth point, which is worth mentioning, is look at the car from outside. It looks rich, it looks plush, it looks cool, right? It looks expensive. It does look like a 20 lakhs plus car, right? But the moment you step inside, okay, it still looks okay, not very bad. But yeah, what is this? 22 lakhs and you still get brittle, scratchy plastics. They are high quality plastics though, but plastic is a plastic. It gives you a cheap feeling. This is plastic, this is plastic. You get plastics everywhere. Brittle. This you get soft touch, and it's well padded as well. But and handles, they do creak a bit. Rear handles, they creak a little more. And if you see these buttons, they aren't of very good quality. Not a huge complaint though, they are not even deal breakers. But if this particular dashboard area would have been of rubber or some kind of even leatherette, that would have been more acceptable, because European Polo, it gets soft touch materials over there. And this 22 lakhs T-Roc, which costs around 26 lakhs in Bangalore now, till last year, it has hard plastics. It's not justified, and there is no way a layman would spend 26 lakhs on a car which has brittle plastics like this. Volkswagen, please improve this in your CKD. Thanks. And the last negative point, which is worth mentioning, is there is some kind of design flaw, or maybe manufacturing defect. But in their latest cars as well, I have seen that problem, that when it rains or when there is a dusty environment, the dust kind of settles at the bottom, this area. So if you see, these are water droplets. So door seals here, but see how dusty this is. This car was washed by 3M maybe a couple of weeks back, but see how much dust has settled over here. And this problem is quite evident at the rear. I mean boot. See this. So this might make it wear a little faster, which is not good. Here as well, if I can show you. Yes. So right now it's like, it's not that dusty in Punjab right now, but I have noticed that dust kind of accumulates in these borders. I'll show you the rear door as well. See how dirty it is. And in Slavia, I've noticed that it settles kind of in this rubber beading also. So in these latest cars, I don't know if they have ignored this or whatever, but while washing your car, you do need to spend extra time. You do need to have some attention to detail to clean it properly. So that's it. I'll conclude my video with this, and as promised, I'll record that how many marks it will score out of 100 in build quality. I'll test that as well. I'll keep that test very strict, because T-Roc does have some cost cutting in plastics, so we'll see how much it scores, and then I'll plan a shoot for couple of years ownership, right? Since I've owned it for 2 years, I'll try to plan an ownership review as well. Other than that, I do have some very good cars to be reviewed in the pipeline, so stay tuned guys. Thanks for your support. Keep supporting. Thanks once again. See you soon.